You know, nobody wants to hear Dave Chappelle come out and be like, I'm Rick James, bitch. It just wouldn't happen. And I think that might be the defining line of what longevity exists with musical comedy.
Do you think also that because there's such a, well, in our society about being politically correct, still,
that's fucking murdering
that
everything.
could add to it?
That's murdering everything. I mean, to me, like that's a whole path of 7-hour conversation. This whole society is fucking weak. You can't say any, I'm sorry again. Are you editing this or do you okay with the profanity?
No, it's uncensored. Go for it.
Okay. This whole society is fucking weak. I mean, you can't make any jokes anymore about anything without people being absolutely offended. And you see it every single day when comics say anything and they're like, oh my gosh, he needs to apologize. He needs to apologize for this. He needs to apologize for that. And with some of them, we'll use, Ricky Gervais as an example. Fantastic comic. He can say whatever he wants and still get chastised for it and be like, oh, how could he say that? How dare he? And as far as the offense goes, if you take someone like Ricky Gervais, who has said multiple things that have offended people, he's got that 50-50 backlash of a huge backing of fans saying, he's just telling a joke. They're just fucking jokes, people. Get over yourselves. But he's also got an entirely gigantic backlash of, how dare you say that? That's offensive. That's sexist, or that's bigoted, or whatever, demeaning, whatever they want to say towards whatever joke he just made. But that's Ricky Gervais. Now let's take John Doe, for example, a young comedian with a lot of talent who wants to say edgy things and tries to do the exact same thing. Well, when John Doe does it, he doesn't have the fanfare or the backing to support it. So instead of the support meeting the backlash, it's 100% backlash with very little fanfare. Now, there might be a few people in the audience going, oh, get over yourselves. But for the most part, people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to offend anybody because they might get their feelings hurt. So everybody just lets it go. It's the same society that hands out these participation trophies. It's the I don't want to hurt your feelings society. It's the, I'll catch a lot of shit for this, but the no bullying campaigns. Yes, I agree that some bullying are complete assholes. Obviously, they've been assholes for years. But bullies don't stop when you're kids. They don't, you don't hit like 18 and bullies go away. There's bullies in everyday life. So by us just saying, oh, he's such a bully. Yes, he's a bully. That's what it is. It stops the little kid from punching the bully in the throat. And I think that that's something that society's lacking. I mean, I've been fat my whole life. I wear glasses. I got made fun of a lot growing up. But if it wasn't for the people making fun of me, I wouldn't have become as quick-witted as I was. I wouldn't have had to stand up for myself. And, I think that that's just something that we as a society are killing off as a whole. And, I mean, if you talk to any comics who tour with a group of guys or any roadie group that gets together, the best jokes that you can ever tell amongst people that you like are the most offensive kind. And for some people that's really hard to grasp. But I mean, if you get a group of comics in a room together, the conversations that are said could never be put on TV. People wouldn't believe the words that are expressed. And it's because when you do this for a living, or, you write for a living, or you've been around it as long as a lot of individuals have, it takes a lot to shock you. And do I think there's a line you can cross? Absolutely. There's always a line you can cross. But the job as a comic has always been to expand that boundaries, to push that boundaries, to make you feel uncomfortable so that you can embrace that memory. That being said, I think that there's some absolutely terribly offensive jokes that have been said that are still funny. But are they offensive? Yeah, they're offensive. But what we've done now is everything's offensive. So I think that's why you're seeing the lack of George Carlins, the lack of Richard Pryors, the lack of even Eddie Murphy. You know, I mean, Chris Rock, all these comics that are just getting in trouble for what they're saying or having to apologize. Jamie Foxx made a joke and had to apologize. Chris Rock makes a joke, has to apologize. Too many apologies. That's the absolutely insanely long answer to your yes or no question.
Well, no, it's good to explain it. So I agree, because there seems to be just such sensitivity to humor. Like, people don't have that sense of humor that they want. But everybody always mentions, like you just did, like Richard Pryor and Carlin and the greats, but to then be offended by comedy that happens now, because it's weird that, like, the same people that will praise a Richard Pryor have been around will also be offended by, like...
100% with the language or the context or any of the jokes that he made.
Right,
I mean,
which doesn't make sense.
To take one, today's society is, we'll just go with the racial divide that's occurring today. It's humongous. One side is saying that one side's more racist than ever, and the other side saying the other side's being more racist than ever. And whenever comics try and make any racial jokes now, it's completely, oh, how dare you? How dare you? And it's on every side of the fence, black, white, Mexican, Asian. It's almost become taboo to even try and make these jokes. But when you look at someone who's grown up on the actual times where racism was at its highest, not now. I don't, I know that's, up to perspective. I don't feel we're at our most racist today. I feel it's been a lot worse over the years. And I think that we had moments in our times where you can take, Sammy Davis Jr., for example. There was a lot of racial jokes that made him the butt of their jokes. But at the same time, it was breaking down racial barriers, because why would they not make fun of Sammy Davis Jr. but make fun of everybody else in the group? By not making fun of Sammy Davis Jr., to me, would have been more racist than to make fun of Sammy Davis Jr. in the Rat Pack. Because they're already making fun of Frank, they're making fun of Joey Bishop, they're making fun of Dean Martin. They're razzing each other, which is what friends, family often